Warning, the following audio transmission will forever change your outlook on society. You will no longer believe the narrative. You are about to wake up and see things for what they really are. News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Doom Daily Show. I am your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everywhere on social media at Jester Dooms. Yeah. Ran into some technical difficulties today. Again, trying to get the show going. I don't know what's happening with the internet. I don't know. Don't understand. Don't forget to check out the website, www.jestersvoice.com. Go there, get yourself an apocalyptic apparel t-shirt. God, I can't even speak today. It's a problem. So happy Friday, May 1st, 2026 to everybody that's out there. I hope you're having a fantastic morning.
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday.
Put a baby in there.
Down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
I have a lovely day planned of dropping off all the kids, going to a buddy's house to help him work on his truck, which it's not a real truck, it's a mini truck, but that's besides the point. I'm going to help him out this morning. Yesterday was an interesting day. I went to my doctor. My doctor prescribed me a diuretic. Said, your blood pressure's going up. It's like, yeah, no shit. I drink like 8 cups of espresso a day, and I got a bunch of people living in my house that stress me out. I know my blood pressure's up. They said, but it's not dangerously high enough to where we think we need to put you on a blood pressure med. So why don't we try this diuretic and see if we can't correct it? And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Sure, let's try it. So I have to take a diuretic for the next 2 weeks and then go back to the doctor and get blood work done to check kidney function and to check to see if it is helping. Getting old is awesome. Yeah. Now imagine back in the day where people just didn't do shit about shit. They asked me, they said, what's your salt intake like? Very low. I keep my sodium levels very low. I do not have a high sodium intake. And I avoid a lot of things that carry sodium. Like I don't put salt on anything, for starters. And then I don't eat the things that contain a lot of sodium. Like I don't drink Gatorade. I don't drink anything that has a lot of sodium in it, really. I don't eat the salted snacks. Like I'm not big on I don't eat beef jerky. I don't eat potato chips. I don't eat things that are naturally filled with sodium. Well, not naturally, it's artificial, but that's besides the point. Anyway, so the only assumption I can make about why my blood pressure is higher right now is simply because stress. That's it. Stress and probably too much damn coffee. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't eat horribly. Stress and coffee is probably what it is. Nicotine is also a factor, and it's not as, like I do pouches, so it's not as big as a factor of like smoking cigarettes or this, that, the other. It still could be playing a factor. So, yeah. If I would quit the nicotine and quit the caffeine and started walking a mile a day, my blood pressure would probably magically return to perfect numbers. But I'm not ready for all that, so let's try the diuretic. But I hope you're having a fantastic Friday. You did it again. You made it to the weekend. I'm proud of you. I am. I want you to look yourself in the mirror after you get home from work and say, you did a good job. I don't know what your name is. Say it's Fred. You did a good job, Fred. You did a damn good job, Fred. Yes. So I got into a little bit of conversation with producer Scooter off air about this time travel mumbo jumbo. Okay. And I think it might be worth rehashing my views on the time travel. Cause it's an interesting thing here because I have, and something I hadn't talked about. Okay. And I came up with this theory a couple years ago when I had like way too much time on my hands to think and process random information. I had just this weird thought process, right, of how time travel would work because it started coming up in media again, like in social media and different things. It was like popping up again in you know, my algorithm. So maybe we'll get into that and I'll give you guys my full on time travel theory. As far as the Cole Allen thing goes, I haven't seen a whole lot of, you know, great new information come across my newsfeed. And I've kind of been waiting for, like the smoking gun, if you will, the smoking gun of this Cole Allen person. And I've been going back and watching the footage, and it's very cut and dry, right? So maybe we'll get into that. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit, maybe. But anyway, we'll be right back after these messages.
Did you know that the Doom Daily Show is now streaming on the Epic Strategies Network? Go to epicstrategiesnetwork.com and check out all the amazing podcasts. Don't forget, they stream music too. That website again is epicstrategiesnetwork.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. Everyone on social media at Jester Dooms. Now, I want to get into the video that was released. If you haven't seen the video, it's circulating online. The video of Cole Allen, the alleged shooter. We're going to read an article about it on the Epic Times. New video released of Cole Allen, alleged shooter at White House Correspondents' Dinner. U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro on April 30th released a new video of Cole Allen, the alleged shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The video allegedly shows Cole Allen shooting a U.S. Secret Service officer during his attempt to assassinate the president during the dinner. The video also shows the suspect casing the area in the Hilton Hotel the day before the attack, according to Pirro's ex-post. So, if you haven't watched the video, there's a very short video circulating around on social media where he basically just bum rushes his way through there and pops a shot on the way and continues on, and it's the video fucking pans, and then you're not getting a whole lot after that. But what's interesting to me about this is typically when they release video footage, you're not getting what the government or law enforcement or anybody has that they could potentially use as evidence right away, right? But there's all kinds of different things happening in this particular video. So go back, find it online, go through and watch. I mean, like I said, you can see what happens when the guy bum rushes way in there. You could see, the casing of the building and whatnot. I mean, there's some things happening there. Now, what's very interesting about this, when he goes in there and he goes to the shooting, it looks like there's still, and this is what doesn't make sense to me. And I'm not going to use the time travel thing, but I will use the time travel thing. If you watch the video, they are still setting up a checkpoint in the video, right? They're working on the metal detectors and stuff in the video. Like, you can see two law enforcement officers down on their knees working on what looks to be like a metal detector, and a couple other officials standing around when this man comes running through in a sprint, tries to fire a shot. I don't know, fires a shot, maybe. You can definitely see one agent shooting at him. Where that round went to, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it's just, it's odd. Like, why would they still be setting up if officials are already in there? Is kind of my whole thing here. That doesn't make sense. Or were one of these, I mean, because I'm trying to rationalize in my brain. Like, it doesn't look like they're fixing something. It looks like they're still getting set up for this event, right? So it's not making a whole lot of sense. And it makes you wonder, if this is what they got on surveillance and the event was already going on, why the fuck were they still setting up metal detectors? Were they expecting more people to come in later? Is this video off? Did this happen before the president was even in there? Like, what's actually fucking happening? Because that doesn't add up to me. And it's really hard for me to not want to read into that too much, but you got an event, everybody's in there, and you're still got guys out in the lobby setting up metal detectors. That should have been done in advance, like far in fucking advance. And the reason why I say that is because I have worked checkpoints, okay? And it is a process getting people through fucking checkpoints, all right? So for those of you that don't know, a lot of these metal detectors, even CellSense, they all fucking work off magnetics. All right. They all work off magnetics. So basically, if you walk anywhere near these things with any sort of magnetics on your body, I'm talking, you don't even have to walk through the damn sensor. You could be on the other side of the room and point a magnet to it, and it's going to set it off. Okay. Now, these things are so sensitive. A paper clip in your pocket, a bobby pin in your hair you forgot about. Maybe the metal rings on the loops of your tennis shoes. Maybe, I mean, anything that's not surgical steel that's a non-magnetic is making these things go off. The reason why I say this and the reason why I bring up I worked checkpoints before is that it's a process getting people through. It's not a quick, fast, in a hurry thing. So if you've ever stood in line like at TSA at the airport, that's a checkpoint that everybody knows. Don't have anything on you, strip everything down, take everything out of your pockets. You know you're getting on a plane. And even still, that takes time. Now imagine a scenario where people have car keys in their pockets, phones in their pockets. Maybe they forgot they had a lighter. Maybe they forgot they had a pocket knife. Maybe this guy over here has paper clips in his pocket because he had a notebook and one fell off. So he's trying to figure out what's beeping on him. They have belt buckles that weren't approved to go through there. All these things. If you've got 30 people going through that metal detector, just automatically think you're going to spend at least 60 seconds per person without issues. Without issues. So that's 30 minutes. Now imagine 5 of those 30 people have an issue. Okay, pump that up to 2 minutes a person, right? Now you're at 35 minutes to get everybody through there, to get those 30 people through. Now say you have one person that has like some weird anomaly that you can't figure it out what it is. Maybe it's a metal underwire in their bra, and that person's an additional 5 minutes. Okay, now you're at 40 minutes to get 30 people through. Okay, so do you see how easily that starts creeping up on a fucking hour? And that's just 30. And after doing that shit long enough, I could tell you about probably one in every 10 people goes off. They can't figure out where it's coming from, and we got to stop them and kind of work with them. 1 out of every 50, guarantee 1 out of every 50 is going to have an anomaly that you have to work on. You know, find the belt buckle. Is it the zipper? Is it the underwire on the bra? Is there metal in the hair scrunchie? Is there a bobby pin somewhere in this woman's hair? Is it this guy's glasses? Is it this guy's bracelet? Is it this guy's watch? Oh, he had metal in his wallet he didn't know about. Oh, did they have gum wrappers in their pocket they didn't realize? There's you cannot do invasive searches, period. You cannot. These are surface searches only, okay? In certain capacities, you're not allowed to be very invasive. I can't make you take your clothes off to figure out what you're hiding under your person. Now, I could pat you down, I could wand you, and that's probably the same procedure that they operate on. But 30 minutes turns into an hour very quickly in this capacity. Now, the reason why I say this is odd, if you got all those people and they're already sitting in there, why would they still be setting up metal detectors in the video, considering how long it takes to actually get people through these things? We'll be right back after these messages.
Jester from It's Doomsday Podcast and the Doom Daily Show here. Do you ever find yourself overloaded with way too much information? Too many logins, too many passwords, too many websites for stuff you like? Yeah, I'm the same way. You don't have to worry about that with the Doom Daily Show and It's Doomsday Podcast. Let's make it simple. Just visit linktree.com/JesterDooms. Add it to your bookmarks. That way, when you need to find the right information, it's right there, under a tap of your finger or a click of your mouse. Go to linktree.com/JesterDooms. Get it, got it, done. Remember, no one has all the answers, but this will provide you with a place to start. linktree.com/JesterDooms. And now, on with the conversation. And here's Jester.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Doom Daily Show. I'm your host, Jester Dooms. The email, doomdailyshow@gmail.com. The website, jestersvoice.com. Go there, buy an Apocalyptic Apparel t-shirt. Leave us an audio message at the top of the page. It's fucking Friday, man. It's fucking Friday. All right. I'm going to give you guys the full-on rundown of what Dooms believes in the realm of time travel. And I'm going to pretend like you didn't listen to my episode the other day, and I have to give you the full-on rundown of what I believe and what my theory is revolving time travel. Okay. So I, in fact, do think time travel is possible. I think that it is strongly possible. Okay. Now, with time travel being possible, I don't think it's possible to travel forward in time. I think you can only travel backwards in time to edit current events, change current events, right? You cannot go forward in time. Now, this is my beliefs. This is my theories on this. You cannot go forward in time because the future hasn't happened yet. There's too many damn anomalies. Are you going to go forward and encounter a stray bullet? Are you going to go forward and be stuck in a building that's been built? Are you going to go forward and all of a sudden there's going to be a tree where you were supposed to be and now you're fused with this tree, right? Okay, so there's that. Also, the future hasn't happened yet. So with the way I believe time travel works, there's no way to go there yet. Because I'm going to explain to you how I think time travel works. First things first, you can only travel back in time to the point that the time machine was invented, okay? And the time machine has to be constantly running and recording data and memory. And something that you never hear anybody talk about when they're talking about time travel is recording data and the amount of memory that you would have to make this happen. And it makes sense because here's my theory on the time travel. This is what I believe, okay? Every point in time, at any point in time, any given second, every given moment, you have all these natural signatures and markers taking place and no two are alike. All right. No two are alike. It's like a fucking fingerprint. All right. So they're all different. But what they are is they're all different markers in time. Okay. Now let me explain this to you. At any given moment, things like the barometric pressure, the static electricity in the air, the humidity, the dew point, just the ambient temperature, sound waves taking place in the background, whether it's a ripple from thunder or a tree that made a crack in the woods or a bird chirping, created a sound signature and sound waves, along with all these other things taking place, plus time of day, the gravity, the way the poles are shifted, high tide, low tide. There's all these different signatures that are moving and taking place and consistently going at any point in time, right? And every second of every day moving forward from the point of a time machine existing, these signatures are forever changing and no two will be alike. All right. Sound waves consistently travel at about 750 miles an hour, which means every second you're getting new ones from some source. Wind temperatures are changing, humidity levels are changing. All these things are happening, right? Now, the theory that I possess is the only way to travel back to a point in time is to be able to go back to these exact signature events where all these things match and you track them back to a date and time. So this machine, in theory, if this time machine fucking existed, it would have to be continuously taking readings, processing data, time stamping it and dating it, and forever storing this information, okay? And that's how you would get your signatures because in the grand scheme of things, time is made the fuck up. Like we made the calendar. We made the 24-hour clock. We made these things. The universe doesn't abide by time as we make it. The universe follows its own rules, laws, and regulations. And the only way we're going to be able to travel to a point throughout that is to travel back to a point where we could match all these signatures based on our time stamp and date, right? You with me so far? I know it's a lot to process. So with this would take a gigantic surge of energy, all right? You would have to have a gigantic surge of energy and you would have to be able to mimic this exact signature, this exact particular signature that existed on the date and time that you want to go back to. So not only does this machine have to record all this data, it also has to duplicate it in a closed environment to get you there, right? You with me so far? Okay, so now that you understand how my theory kind of works, you can only go back to when that time machine was first invented and when it first started recording data, okay? Now, once this has existed, you could move back and forth in increments, okay? Like maybe you could move 10 minutes back, 10 years back, 5 minutes back, 5 years back. But the reality to all this is you have to stay within the realms of when this machine was invented, okay? You cannot move outside of this realm. You can't go forward into these signatures that have not been created yet, because there's always new ones being created every second of every day. And you could only move backwards to the point that it was invented. Now, you may say to yourself, Dooms, that's a lot of work to only be able to travel backward into the point of present day. Like, that's a lot. Well, it is a lot. But the fact of the matter is that how much could you change in that time frame? If you could go back 1 year from now, the amount of Bitcoin information you would have for predictions would be insane. If you could go back a year from now and avoid a bad car crash you were going to get into, you would do it. If you could go back a year from now and take back a decision that you made that wasn't probably a good one, you could do that. So the idea of thinking of things on a global scale with world leaders, world problems, wars, disease, famine, whatever, you could go back and you can alter existence of things. And it might not seem significant, but you could. The significance is in what the time traveler wants to do. So if you want to go back in time, say the time machine was invented in the year 2000, that's 26 years of data where a lot of shit has happened. You could go back and prevent 9/11. You could go back and prevent the crash of the housing crisis. You could go back and prevent the normalization of the electric car. There's a lot that you could do if you had that data to go backwards. You could invest so much money in Amazon and take control of that before Amazon got big. You could go back and buy all the fucking shares. I mean, it's unreal. Now, I'll give you something that's kind of interesting along with this time travel theory. Is that we talk about alternate timelines and alternate dimensions, and you talk about things like this, and the probability of alternate timelines does exist because when you change certain things, you're changing different signatures, right? So if you go back and say the time machine was invented in the year 2000 and 9/11 didn't happen, but the time machine recorded the sound waves from the radio reporting this, if it records the lack of power being used at home, like just these different things that it would be recording. It's creating a whole new signature, thus creating two separate timelines, right? Now, the problem you have is even though you have both of these timelines recorded, how does it differentiate which one to travel back to if you'd want to go back to that moment? It would record the new one in history. So even though that there's that alternate timeline created, how would you access it? Because you change the course of events. You change the signatures that this machine is picking up. So is it completely erased because you know it did happen? And that's kind of that like weird paradox idea of, you've altered time. Can you go back to the altered state? Does that timeline still exist? Maybe, maybe not. Who knows? But you can only go back to present day once you have traveled into the past. Now, we keep seeing these things in regards to, scientists getting killed off or, disappearing or all these things. Well, I do also believe that sometimes in the realm of time travel, you have issues where two individuals are walking the same timeline, okay? Because when you alter things in the past, you're altering the present day. So if you say, go back and you alter something, like say that I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back in time to the year 2000 and I'm going to hang out for a couple years and I'm going to make some money and invest in this and invest in that. And then I'm going to come back to present day and I'm going to be loaded, right? If I try to go back to present day, I would have never went to the past. You get what I'm saying? If I alter that timeline, I would never be in the position to need time travel to go back to increase my wealth. So I would have never stepped into that time machine. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to go back. Therefore, there'd be two of me running around in the year 2000, an older version of myself that's 26 years older from the time I went back, if I left now. And then there would be my younger version of myself, 26 years younger, running around in the same fucking timeline. Now, how do you fix that paradox? Now, I think that answer, that reason, that right there might be the reason why we're seeing some of these individuals got, disappear, die mysteriously. Because it's their present self that had died. It's not the self that went into the past. So that self that went into the past might still be just chugging right along. And the present day self that got killed, they had to get rid of because now there's two of them. There's two of them running around with double the knowledge. Does it make sense? I know it's really weird, but I say all this about the time travel to say that if my dumb ass that lives in the middle of the nowhere has this much brain power and this much time to sit there and think this shit through and not have any money for research and not be working with teams of scientists or all this shit, and I could fucking get a little bit of a handle and a little bit of a bead on what's happening. Imagine if I was sitting in a room with a bunch of scientists, a shit ton of money and equipment, and could actually do research and get this figured out. If I could come up with this shit, and these fuckers are out there with unlimited amounts of money and power and equipment and fucking genius scientists, yeah, it exists. I guarantee it. Because I ain't shit. I'm just some fucking hillbilly in the middle of nowhere. So let that sink in. Just let it sink in, man. Anyway, that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back here on Monday for another excited episode of the Doom Daily Show. Don't forget to tip your scooter, and we'll see you guys next week on the Doom Daily Show.
News, facts, and opinions. This is the Doom Daily Show.